This video, I'm going to show you how to do another variation on the wall hanger. So if you want to do a different version, take a look at this and you'll see how to do it. I've got all of the parts in my project so far. I've got my mechanism and I've got a retaining ring and I've got the clock face. I now need to add the hanger, the wall hanger. So I'm going to open up this sketch. I'll double click it and then open it up. I'll turn off the visibility of the clock face and the mechanism just for now. And now, leaving on the retaining ring sketch geometry, these shapes here, I will add some more geometry to make the wall hanger. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a construction line. So construction lines are lines that don't interfere with geometry. I'm going to connect it to the origin point and I'll pull it all the way up here. I'll make that line 75 millimeters and I'll say OK. And now at this point, I want to convert that selected line into a construction line. To do this, I can either click over on the sketch palette here, that turns it into a dotted line. I'll undo that and show you another method. I select the line and press X on my keyboard, and that will make it a construction line. So again, this is not going to now interfere with any sketch profiles and so on. It's just there to help me to build out the sketch and give me something to connect to when I want to dimension or have points that I can snap to and so on. So I'm going to add a line now. I want to add a line from over here, and I can snap into that edge of that line, and I'll come all the way up to the end of that line there, and you can see I've got a snap point because the reticle turns on. And I click and I say OK, and then I'm going to snap over here and I'll give that one another one. And now to make this black, I'll dimension the line. So I'll press D on my keyboard to bring up my dimensioning tool, and I'll just pull out a nice little dimension there. In fact, what I'll do is just to give this a number, I'll type in 50. It's going to move it up, and that's fine. The other one connects to it still, and it's fine. And we're good. So all those lines have turned black, which is terrific. Now I also want to add another line in between here. So there is a line there. I might not be able to select it later. I don't think I can. Yeah, so I might have to add a line to that in a second so that I can create sort of 3 lines that I can then pull an offset from. So I'll add a line there on top of there over to here. And it looks like nothing happened. But in fact, now I can select that line and it's there. And it's on top of other lines. So when you're in a flat 2D environment, how do you see lines on top of lines? Well, you click with the left button and you hold down. So click and hold, and there you can see I've got a whole bunch of lines. That's the topmost one. That's the one that I need. So I can now do an offset. So I'll click offset, and I'll click that line, and that line, and that line, try and get them all. There we go. And now it's given me all 3 lines, and I can now offset those by -5, and then that will give me a nice sort of interior triangle that will be the wall hanger. I'm almost done. I don't really like how sharp that corner is on the inside, maybe even there on the top, so I can change that with a nice fillet. So I'll add a fillet to the inside. I'll just click twice, and then I'm going to give that a 2mm fillet. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's nice. A nice little 2mm fillet. I hit enter, and then I'm going to add another fillet again. And I'll click here, and I'll type in 2. That makes a nice rounded fillet. That's nice. So I've got some blue geometry. I need to dimension that to make it turn black. So I'll hit the D on the keyboard, and I'll go from the geometry I want to constrain from that edge to that edge, and I'll say that's going to be 5. You'll notice it turns black. I'll go from that edge over to that edge, and I'll say that's 5 as well. Hit enter, that turns black, and you know what I'm going to do now. Going to that known geometry, boom, it all turns black. It's lovely. So I can finish my sketch. So now I turn on my sketch. It's all lined up on the bottom of the clock face. If I turn the clock face on, you'll see it's sitting on the bottom of it. So now I need to do another extrude, and I'm going to hit extrude, and I'll select that sketch profile, and I'm going to pull it down. I'm actually pulling it down way further than I need, just to sort of exaggerate it so you can see it on screen. But what I actually want to do is have it connect to this, right? So the easiest way to do that is to say extent to object, and then you tell Fusion go to here, extrude it all the way to that there. And you can see now that it's all blue, and that's telling you that you've got one big sketch profile that it's going to create. The operation, you're going to need to make sure it's going to be joined, because I'm going to add to the existing retaining ring, and that's going to become a retaining ring and a wall hanger all in one. And I'll just say OK. So at this point, if I turn off the sketch for the retaining ring, you can see we've got that lovely object. I click on that sketch profile. That's all good. That's all makeable. And I'll turn on the other parts and then go to my home view, and you can see when I click on the retaining ring that it's there in place. So that's it. That's another version of our wall hanger. You can kind of choose whichever one you like. It's all up to you. But we're done.